the Mona Lisa DK, which we all know stands for Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong?
The car that Nissan made for poor guys like you and me so that we could have a rear-wheel drive manual sports car in our budgets. And back in the day, Nissan was making Skylines and other cool cars, and they wanted something for lower income people like you and me to buy. That made it the ideal car for kids that were 16, 17, 18 in the 90s to save up money for and get. And this car was perfect for drifting right out of the gate, which was not Nissan's intention. Nissan did not market this to be a drift car. The car community just knew better than engineers. Isn't that always the case? But anyway, these cars used to be around 5K all day, and you could get them used for cheap because cars were still cheap then. Isn't that crazy? That's a wild concept. Wow, I wish we had cheap cars these days. Anyways, people could get 240SXs for around 5K, and there was so much support so early on that anyone with any budget could get one and build it into whatever price point they wanted and have something super fun that they could go sideways in at almost any income level. That's crazy. If only we had that these days. Now, unfortunately, these cars were so good that Fast and the Furious recognized them and made it a main car in Tokyo Drift, which combated the Drift King in the very first scene. It was called the Mona Lisa, and then the next couple, actually this came before it. It was installed in Initial D as one of the main characters' cars. And it was installed in other racing shows and car shows and movies throughout cinema. Also, the car prices were also contributed because car prices, and any price of anything really, comes from scarcity versus demand. And as more of these cars were bought and totaled out through novices, wrecking them and totaling them on the drift track or on the public roads, these cars became rarer and harder to find. Not rare, but rarer. What also hurt these cars was the fact that they became TikTokified. Oh my gosh, I hate TikTokification. I was really hoping the ban was gonna stick, but no. TikTokification got to these cars when they started putting massive camber on these cars, funk music in the background. By the way, I love funk, but I hate what it can do to make trends happen, and these cars kind of became a trend that never really went away. It was the poor man's Silvia, because the S14 and S15 were still more expensive. And it was also the first Silvia you could import if you couldn't find one you liked in the States. But now even imports are becoming expensive for this car. This car wasn't even that cool. It had a KA24 if you lived in America. In 1991, they started giving it the KA24DE, which wasn't that much better because Japan got the SR20 DET. That was the actual good engine. That one came with a turbo and had over 200 horsepower. America never got anywhere near 200 horsepower, but at least we had a 5-speed manual, and Japan never got pop-up headlights on theirs like America did. So I guess it's a win-win or lose-lose situation, whatever you want to call it, but pop-up headlights make everything better. Just ask me, I drive a car with pop-up headlights. But this car was still a really cool car, and even a little bit after the first few years of Tokyo Drift being out, actually for like almost a decade after Tokyo Drift being out and other movies being out about it, it still was a cheap car. But as of recently, these car prices have been rising steadily to the point where they're around $10,000 to $20,000 for a clapped out rat's nest problem. You're getting a car that has the engine and transmission, but barely. There's so many other problems with these cars, usually in the body, lots of rust, lots of dents, and then also just mechanically, these cars are just abused and ragged on. Really, the only reason people buy 240SXs is it's not for comfort, it's not for luxury. Some people buy them to be cool, but by being cool, they're being a douchebag with it. Really, they're buying them to abuse them. They're like the poor man's Hellcat, but it's not treated with any niceness at all. People just slam these in the walls, and they don't care because it was cheap. It was cheap, right? But now it's not anymore. These cars are around $10,000 to $20,000, like I said, for a clapped out one. For a nice one, you're looking around $30,000, which is astronomical. Back in the day, 89 to 94 was the years these cars were made, and at that same time, Nissan was making the R32 Skyline GTR. But get this, the R32 Skyline with the RB25DE, not the DE Turbo, but the RB25DE, 5-speed manual came in the GTS, the Skyline GTS, not the GTR. That's still barely more expensive than the 240SXs, but just barely for now. Honestly, the 240SXs is on track to surpass the R32s. But anyway, the R32 Skyline GTS had the RB25 DET inline 6 with the 5-speed manual rear-wheel drive, but it had so many more creature comforts, so much more enhanced performance, such a better car all around. And get this, these cars for a clean one with low miles is significantly less than a clean, even beat up 240SX. I said the beat up 240SX prices were, between $10,000 to $20,000, while the R32 Skyline GTS prices are around 12 grand. I found this one in my home area after 5 minutes of searching, and they're everywhere. A lot of them are a bit more expensive than this, but you can find Skyline GTSs for this price, which is astronomical. The fact that the world has gone to the point where we're paying almost 20 grand for a clapped out 240SX is mind-blowing to me. Our economy is so cooked. If you guys have any idea on how we can fix this car economy, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys think that the American economy is actually pretty stable, debate it with all the other experts down in the comments. And finally, guys, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm simply going to ask that you critique my videos, because I know that I'm a nobody. And you guys might be saying, this is a short video. Well, yeah, it is a short video. I'm not trying to give you the history on the 240SX. I'm just talking about the economy. When you're talking about the economy on two different cars, you can go through it real quick. 240SX is expensive. R32 Skyline GTS is currently not expensive, but it will go expensive because the R35 is retaining its value, starting to appreciate. R34 has been always climbing to the point where it's way beyond the Supra. It's stupid. The R33 is finally starting to see traction, and once the R33 gets too expensive, people are going to start modifying the R32, and once the R32 starts catching on, then the R32 Skyline GTS even will get more expensive. So I honestly think, even though people say that cars are not a good investment, which they technically aren't, I've already lost thousands on my Corvette, it is still a not quite as dumb financial decision. Anyway, that's all I have to say. 240SX, too expensive. Skyline GTS, good price. Get the Skyline GTS if you can. If you're thinking about getting a JDM car, thank you for watching. Love you all. Stay blessed. If you're still watching, say hi to the gnome. Okay, bye.